business attire. So if you want to come to this action wearing business clothing and be swept off the street by people in hazmat suits, that would be something awesome you could do.
Great. So that's tomorrow. We can camp out tonight. That's great. But the action is tomorrow at 9 a.m. We're gonna have breakfast here. It's a potluck breakfast. So we encourage everybody to come out and bring food to feed everybody. That's at 9 a.m. 10 a.m. we're gonna have a little rally, and then we're gonna march over to Sheraton and do the ticket. The luncheon starts at 11, and it ends at about 2. So that's how long we're gonna be at the action next time. I heard that they made a bunch of signs over at So yeah, it's gonna be great. And then tomorrow, Friday, we're gonna have another action at CCA. They're having a meeting. It's one of their regular monthly meetings. They're talking about the homeless problem in Los Angeles. Did they actually think of inviting anybody to talk about that? No. It's all the business people that are going to be talking about how they just want to get rid of homelessness from LA. By getting rid of it, they just want to get the visual image out of there. They don't want people out here sitting on the streets or shopping carts. They just want to get rid of it. They want to push people outside of the city and set this up as a playground for the rich. Like, we want to build all these lofts, development, all these new hip restaurants and other places. I'm sure you can come down like 6th Street or nail salon that's open. Like, this is what they're trying to bring into downtown LA. Instead of low-income housing that's like sorely needed. There's more than 500,000 homeless people in Los Angeles. And the city's spending their money on cities and helping to build big developments like the football stadium. They're actually helping the poor. So,
Yeah, just point of information, a lot of hipsters and yuppies are moving into downtown. That's not really what we care about. We care about the people that own the property. People like Thomas Gilmore that own blocks of downtown. We're working with LA Can to build these dossiers against these people, but it's against the landowners, the wealthy class.
Yeah, and then so that's Friday, 8 a.m. They're having that meeting around the homeless issue. So we're gonna be picketing at 8 a.m. in front of the CCA. Just come out at 6 a.m. And I don't know if Adam, do you want to talk a little more about the actions on Thursday, Friday?
She covered it pretty well.
I don't know if you want to. I didn't hear what I said, but okay, cool. So yeah, so be here at 8 a.m. on Friday. Ticket. It's gonna last till yeah. So be here for that. And then Saturday is the Walmart action. As you know, they're building a Walmart store down in Chinatown. There's gonna be a rally that's being set up by the AFL-CIO. And that's 10 a.m. on Saturday at
Just another point of information, Friday night is a punk show. It's a no Walmart punk show. It's a $5 suggested donation. I'm not exactly sure where it is. I know it's online. If you ask around the Occupy circles, you can find the event page. I can help do that. But I think this whole Walmart thing is important because we have a punk show. We have the AFL-CIO labor unions. We have community groups like LA Can, like people in Chinatown, and we have Occupy, all talking about the same thing. So this action is kind of going viral, and I think it's a good lesson to point towards CCA after this, because they're the ones that gave Walmart components to build there. So a lot of occupiers are planning to go as outreach, not necessarily to go to 10 a.m. and chant with people and hold signs, but do outreach about what do you want to do to actually stop this thing.
Right, so it's a three days packed of action all in the morning. So that's again tomorrow, Thursday, 9 a.m. here, then 11 a.m. over to Sheraton. Friday, 8 a.m. over at TCA with the Closure. And Saturday, it's 10 a.m. over at the Cornfield.
Oh wait, the Walmart thing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no. They have been working on that for a while. They had no committee, coming them out. That'll be the brother to talk to.
Well, no. Also, kind of with the Walmart thing. I mean, Warehouse Workers United are also working that, and that kind of closes a nice little circle for the F-29 action. You know, because Walmart specifically been going after them hard. So,
Do we have anybody else on staff
Any
for
other-
announcements?
Any other announcements? Time-sensitive announcements.
So, we have a couple of things on the agenda for tonight. We have a proposal that we want to get cheaper to have finally gathered enough people to actually have quorum tonight. And then we have a really interesting discussion topic that, we want everybody to participate in. So, Lauren, are you guys ready to present your proposal?
The TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership, has been being negotiated for the last couple of years in secret. Part of what TPP, so far through leaked documents, has shown is that it expands corporate personhoods to nations in which it operates. It allows foreign companies operating on U.S. soil to be exempt from U.S. laws. It takes away rights of workers, and it also even takes rights away from companies and countries that decided to how on it is not going to be. And then they're coming, the next round of talks is in San Diego on July 2nd to July 10th. Occupying Dallas, where they last met, even though they only have 20 people, put together some great action. We even got into the actual award ceremony and gave the Obama administration negotiator the Corporate Power Tool Award, which he actually took until he figured out that the joke was on him. So, San Diego is trying to put together some actions. We're asking that Occupy Los Angeles, at least at this point, endorses San Diego's efforts. So, and part, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say before, Trans-Pacific Partnership is a trade agreement, like NAFTA. They're calling it NAFTA on steroids. There's 11 countries. Well, there's 9 countries, but then Canada, Japan, and possibly Mexico are coming into it. And what it makes Citizens United look like nothing, because that's just corporate oligarchy in the United States. This is corporate oligarchy of the world. It overrides national sovereignty. For instance, if France wanted to have a ban on genetically engineered foods, they would say no because the trade agreement prohibits it. If Africa wanted to produce low-cost generic AIDS medicine, they would say no, it violates the patents of whoever produces, expensive AIDS medicine. So it's really very frightening. Even Congress does not know what is in this agreement. Ron Wyden, Senator from Oregon, is like bullshit about this, and Catherine's going to be able to try to get access to this information. All the meetings they've had have been all corporations. So it's like the ultimate nightmare of corporations running the world, but really running the world. Not just really running the world.
One of the things that they've also put in is that, we all struck against CISPA and SOFA. Well, nations would have to accept those laws if they wanted to be a signer of this treaty. And the companies that are negotiating all this are Walmart, Monsanto, Goldman Sachs, Pfizer, Halliburton, Philip Morris, GE, GM, Apple, and then a bunch of others. So that's kind of what we're up against.
Well, what San Diego's kind of planning for it is they're going to be having a week of actions against it, but on July 7th, they're planning a big
that has questions about this proposal to endorse the San Diego action against the TPP?
I have a chocolate stack.
If you know anything more on it in San Diego, I can try to find out more from you. I am in contact with organizers and stuff, so.
I am sacrificing myself to ask the question, what is this? I don't know what TPP is, other than that it's like NAFTA, and could you just give a few more details about it?
Okay.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up, Mark.
Okay, let me read exactly from the website. The Trans-Pacific Partnership would create a super treaty with large corporations like Walmart, Monsanto, Goldman Sachs, Pfizer, Halliburton, Philip Morris, GE, GM, and Apple. There are currently 11 nations involved: the United States, New Zealand, Australia, Brunei, Chile, Malaysia, Peru, Singapore, Vietnam, Mexico, and Canada. And Japan has also shown interest. The economic power of this group is more than 40% larger than the 27-nation European Union. TPP will offshore millions of good-paying jobs to low-wages nations, undercutting worker conditions globally and increasing unemployment. TPP will expand pharmaceutical monopoly protections and institute longer patents that will decrease access to affordable medications. TPP will limit food GMO labeling and allow the import of goods that do not meet U.S. safe standards. TPP will institute SOPA, PIPA, and CISPA-like regulations and internet measures which restrict our right to free speech. TPP will roll back Wall Street regulations and prohibits bans on risky financial services. TPP will give multinational corporations and private investors the right to sue nations in private tribunals. These tribunals have the power to overturn environmental, labor, or any other laws that limit profits, awarding taxpayer-funded damages. TPP will encourage the privatization of lands and natural resources in areas where indigenous people live.
In other words, they're going to make treaties to screw us all.
Does that help?
Point of information.
Yeah. I mean, Obama had said that, you know, he learned the mistakes of the Clinton administration and NAFTA, and that he wasn't going to go half-cocked into these, you know, trade agreements, and yet has continued these negotiations in secret. Congress doesn't even have access to what is being negotiated. They've requested the information, and they've been refused access to the trade negotiations time and time again. So, how exactly this is going to get passed? Normally, Congress would have to agree to a trading front. They'll probably pull some kind of hocus-pocus executive order stuff and get it into law.
Are there any other questions? So, can we have a temperature check? How do people feel about endorsing the San Diego action? I don't see any concerns. Are there any concerns that I'm not seeing? Then I think we have reached consensus. And we have endorsed this action.
bus transpo.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hope that you guys will come on Friday to the GA on Friday and to the GA on Monday. Especially on Monday, I think there's an update. Right, well, but isn't there one that that's going on?
What day is this?
Saturday. This coming Saturday. The
7th of July.
The whole week to plan. It would be great if we could. I think it would be great if we could get out there on Saturday. So we can get some buses to get down there. That would be a great. How do people feel about that? So we have now charged the working group to, like investigate the possibility of possibly getting a bus or two, a bus, like to get anybody who's interested down there for the Saturday action. So we'll get a report back. Beautiful. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. That's what we have to do next, right?
Okay, so now, yay, we're done with proposal. Yay! This is so exciting. So now we have a discussion. The General Assembly in February consented to read a succinct statement about us, and there'll be literature that would say that who we are to motivate others to join us. So we like to focus on group discussions at our GA for the next few weeks about what the statement should include. So today, there's going to be 2 questions, and we want people to get in the group to about 5, 7, and talk about it and then bring back to the group so that we can actually have a statement that will reflect on what people really think about what we're doing here. And the first question is, who are we? Who are we? Why are we here? What are our goals? And how can others become involved? Again, so who are we? Why are we here? What are our goals? And how can others become involved? So, those are the 4 questions to think about, and we want everyone to break off in groups of about 5 to 7, and pick someone who's going to moderate that or facilitate that discussion, and have someone be a note taker, and have them report back to the GA, and then we can take notes on that, and kind of from that put together a statement that we can come out with, put in our literature, and we can tell other people about hey, this is why we're here, and this is why you should join us.
I want to just give a little additional context to this. Last week we had a proposal presented to the General Assembly by a working group that's been working on a statement of voice for the voiceless. And there was some considerable discussion about the proposal and how we make this kind of statement about ourselves. So I just want to acknowledge that group has asked the Assembly to kind of participate as a group to help, formulate that document in a better way, to think about, what's the best way to represent ourselves, what's the best statement that we can make that is most inclusive and represents who we are. So that's kind of also background to the discussion that we're going to have. I know that a lot of you were here last week and saw that proposal.
Hopefully we can give some ideas, give some.
Right. That was a sense to get us starting to talk about that.
We started talking about it. And it's been heard several times, and there's always different concerns that have been brought up and different ideas that have been brought up for a statement. So let's really talk about what we want to have in a statement, and how it should read, what we want to include, and what we want to say to other people that haven't come yet, that will motivate them to join us,
Okay. Right. So, you guys have 20 minutes
somebody in your group that can come back and share with the, like whole assembly what you discussed. This is part of our consensus process to work as a group body to come up with the best document possible, like utilizing everybody's feedback.
And something to think about. Like, why are we here? What are we?
All right, I'll try. All right.
I'm here for the free t-shirts.
Okay. When you find them, let me know.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, the questions were, who are we?
Yep. I'm gonna go say hi to Alice. Huh? I'm gonna go say hi to Alice. Okay, I'll go with you because we're going off in groups and I can't really turn the recording off.
You taking notes?
Okay, so can I join this group?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Ustreaming, so if anyone minds or doesn't mind. Okay. I've had objections in the past.
Okay, everybody heard the question?
How is this document being different than the declaration that we issued back in October? I mean, and also...
October, you're talking about the declaration on the
Yeah.
which is basically a long list of grievances.
Sorry, it's hard for me to hear.
Oh, that's all right.
Wow, that's who I am. You know? And I should be involved also.
I mean, it's funny because kind of working backwards, I think is kind of, I mean, like telling somebody on a one-on-one basis why they should join us is so much easier than encapsulating, say, like, who are we and why are we here? Because we're so many different people with so many different life experiences, you know? Right.
I go to Chico every night, and I see my brother out there sleeping on the street because places like the Union Rescue wants to charge for a bed. Maybe that's the only way they know how to keep the doors open. They've lost the money because they talked about the money. Now they're talking about how they need to order more blankets for the union. Well, what about the places that they what about the fence there? What about better bathrooms?
I mean, like, for me,
So you got involved because you're terrible.
Yeah, and my mother is part of Occupy Boise. My mother, my little sister's brother, my big brother kind of was there in the middle of the night. And it's because we come from a long line of Indians who like shit on my white man. Take our land. Then you want to charge us rent to stay there? My father is in a wheelchair and more kids than I am. They're telling him, yeah, we'll put well on your property, but you guys use the property first. He's like, fuck you! So I'm there because if I don't stand up for right,
What's right? Yeah.
some of them, like McGregor, like Magdalena, he sleeps out there every night. There's been 7 murders in 2 weeks' time.
Right here on
right
Oscar.
there, right there on San Julian, between 5th and 7th. And 2 of those murders happened right by her best tent. And the union won't let her in because she don't have proper ID, because she don't have money to pay them.
That's really sad. It's got to skip out too.
So kind of indigenous people and homeless people's rights. Is that
But she's kind of person that cares about people's rights. And
right?
she's
Yeah,
here.
exactly. And I like that you brought up, indigenous people, because we have, a hard and beautiful core of indigenous people with us in the camp, which we haven't really seen since. But I mean,
We have a bunch of other ones. When you put water in there, it's heavy. Can you ask around like this to kick somebody's butt?
Do you ask her to make cell phone bags too?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, you can put your cell phone and your water bottle in one.
Yeah.
I've got everything in here.
Yeah, but I mean, cell phone. Well, I don't know cell phone.
I mean,
what about you? You're new. Is this your first time down?
We are, I can say maybe occupy. Occupy allows us to talk about things where in particular about things like the issue of property. There's a situation where we know now
taboo issues, especially of property and person.
That's just turned down now.
I don't think I've heard anyone say that before.
I mean, the land is they don't actually own some of these things. Allow them to build paying attention to the massive police army.
Well, yeah, the courts are listening to them. I mean, it's interesting because, an attorney after attorney will say, if you show up to court and you don't have your shit together, you lost your case. But in the case of the banks, they come into court, they don't have their shit together, and the court and the judge goes, well, next time come back, have your paperwork together. So, I mean, people are up against this machine that can't even prove that they own the property or have a right to kick somebody out, and the justice system is giving them every opportunity to get that paperwork back together and make sure that family gets kicked out of their home. Which
Here's something I don't think anybody's really aware of. The women's center has a fight for their space. They don't really care. I mean, they told us to go to the Jonah Project up. 45 people left home. 45 more people that had a birthday.
Yeah, fair say that's gotta be ours.
They only charged $125, but that money went to keep the building its code. And then it's like with the women's center, and I work there maybe by the main store. Items that I make, we sold in the store, and it keeps the place going. They had to fight a long time just to get their well, we're going to have a name for it, but the secondhand store that's going to be opening this fall. And 48 new homes chronic homeless, mentally ill women. Because we don't have enough housing for women. And a lot of these programs are for men. So
Yeah.
with that, it's interesting on the way socially how it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, there's still going to be a homeless problem. But it's even more so for most of the women that have lost their kids, lost their jobs.
Yeah.
And these banks don't care.
Right. Yeah.
And in fact, we have these businesses that we talk about every week against the women. Jan Perry, she's not supporting them, but she's down on other things.
Okay, can we get back to the issue of who we are? I mean, I think this totally relates to it. I really love what you said about you're here because you want to stand up and speak out for people that are having the rights right. And I mean, we're talking about standing up.
I also wanted to say why I was here.
They feel that they could run all over us. We've got to speak out against all this injustice that's happening. And here's, for me, like, I don't think people understand, like, for me, I'm that exact reason. I want to speak out for me. And all of these people are having the rights violated because of the issue. The people that make themselves of their own such pockets, they can go and do whatever they want. And if they're doing as long as they, they'll pay for it, so they can say they'll pay for them to get what they want, and they can't just get it legally. They'll pay, to really good low lives to come, make sure they get what they want. And so, for me, I think we should stand up, and I think that statement, I think we should say what we're standing up for. Because when other people do